All right, mic check, mic check. All right, y'all. We are back, and let me take a look here. I am trying to figure out what the heck am I doing. So let's see here. Thanks everybody for tapping in. We're gonna do a special podcast for this one right here. This one's gonna be called. Oh, that's crazy because somebody that I really been praying for had just tapped in. Ain't that crazy how God works? And so we're gonna name this one "Mental Black Men's Mental Health." Or really, it's any man's mental health, but we're gonna call it Black Men Mental. And I'm not gonna put any names out there, but I'm just saying like the guy just tapped in, and like that's crazy because that just shows how powerful like word is. I'm not talking about like gospel word or anything like that. I'm just talking about like I mean that too, because gospel word is the most powerful. I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying that as far as just word, just as you know, all word is powerful. But especially gospel is the most powerful. Let me get that out there again. But like, let's say if you tell somebody, man, you really doing good. As you, no, I'm not gonna go. But you tell somebody like you really doing good, and I think like a lot of men, like we don't get that a lot. To where somebody tell us like, oh, you're doing good, or what we consider like a pat on the back. We don't get that. So a lot of times we don't even look for that. And if we do get it, it's like, oh wow, like somebody really noticed me and things like that. So those are always positive things that just like with your words, your what you speak out of your mouth that um, you could give someone what I want to say. You can give somebody, you can uplift somebody. I guess the one there you go. You can uplift somebody with just your words and stuff like that. So um, I think that's something that we need to do more of is just try to give people words of encouragement first of all, and just like, yeah, you can do it, you can make it, you can. It seems small, but it goes a long way. You know what I'm saying? And so, excuse me, y'all, because I got to do two things at once. I'm the engineer when it comes to the podcast and all that stuff. So I used to have music playing in the background, but then sometimes I want to edit it, and you can't edit it with music. So it's just a whole bunch of things that go into it. So but we got it sounding good and it looked good. So we are where we need to be, exactly where we need to be at. So what we're talking about is mental health today. And we have the holidays coming up, and I know a lot of people go through mental things during the holidays and stuff like that, can't get their mind together, and things they wanted to do they couldn't do. I'm being one of those people. Not saying that I'm mentally, but it is a drain on some people. Some people can get to where they are in that mental state. So that's what we want to talk about, and not just really with men, but women, but especially with men, because I don't think we talk about it with men enough. And then we just go undiagnosed. But let me tell y'all, if you are men, if you are feeling like depression, and turn down a little bit, then you probably should see a psychiatrist. Don't ever think that it's not cool to not see somebody to talk to about your problems. Men, if you are feeling like depression, turn down a little bit. And not just like your boys, like, oh, I'm gonna talk to my boys about it because they know they done been through it with a girl and da 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 da. Like everybody is different, right? So um you you can't just talk to your boys about this. You got to talk to somebody outside of your relationship that's not, or outside of your life, I should say. That way they can give you their opinions on how they feel like you should go about doing some things. And they trained, they been sent to school, and thousands of dollars have been spent for them to understand the human mind. So when they tell you something, advice, it's not going to be a biased thing like, oh, that's my cousin. Well, that's my shoot. I used to know her. I like her a little bit, things like that. So it's good to get that opinion. So you want to try to seek out some type of professional help. That's okay. Don't think it's just going to happen from, a higher spirit. A higher spirit will help you, in that term, but don't, oh my God, it seems like I'm just so against religion today, and I'm not. I'm not against religion. I'm just saying, because I'm religious myself, but I'm saying as a Black man, we've always been told that you could just pray about it and things like that, to where it's not just that simple. Sometimes you have to go get somebody to tell you fucked up in the head. If your marriages, your relationships and things like that are not working out, then sometimes it may make sense to go talk to somebody and find out that you are the problem. Maybe something in childhood that you never really talked about, and you never really, focused on. I need to fix this. I need to fix that. I need to fix that. So that's what it's all about. And so y'all know we are on a few different platforms. As a matter of fact, the next time I go live in here, I'm going to be live on like 6 or 7 different platforms at one time. We're going to have cameras everywhere, because now I have ways that I can do the thing that I didn't have before. So it's really cool. And we are in the studio. So, so with that being said, you may be not right in the head. That may be why your relationships are not working out, so those things you may need to be told, that you could be a better person this way, or that you're an asshole, things like that. So do y'all know it? I'm gonna play this video, and this video is very powerful. I want all men, if you got your homeboys, check out, see what Johnny talking about. You know what I'm saying? They cool, they know me. Like, share it with them, comment and things like that. We on YouTube. I see people watching on YouTube. Facebook is a little bit slower for whatever reason in my hometown, but hopefully it gets better. But tell your homeboys, like, yo, Johnny is on, he talking about something. Let's see what he's talking about, because maybe he going through something. Maybe they had a death in the family. That's one of the biggest things. Like, somebody have a death in the family, and you be with them all the way up until a funeral, maybe calling them, maybe you don't call them, but you go give them chicken. And then after the funeral, they straight. No, you need to check on them still, and continue to check up on them, like, even afterwards, and things like that. So that's all I'm saying. We need to, because mentally somebody could be, especially if they were together for a long time, and then somebody dies. That's like a pool separation, and that's hard to deal with. It's hard to deal with a breakup. So you could maybe get back together. Like, you can get in the gym and work out. Like, oh, my chicks want me back. But I'm saying, you can get back in the gym and get yourself together, and your females, that female might want you back. But if they dead gone, then boom, that is a really tough separation. I've never had to deal with losing somebody that I love like that, like, a relationship wise, that has to be crazy. Anyway, so yeah, so we're gonna watch this video, and I just want y'all to take a look, and y'all tell me what y'all think. And it talks about mental health, and that's something we definitely need to take a look at. So here we go. Let me know what y'all think. I do have my I have my Cash App up here, so you guys can support, share it, like it. If you don't have money, if you brokey, that's cool. Like it, share it, support. Some people need to hear this. You could save somebody's life. Stop being selfish because you don't like me. Somebody else could benefit. That's what's up, man. I swear, if people would just drop the hate here, I'll be a star. Okay, so here we go. Watch this. And I gotta go. Just so y'all know, I haven't paid my thing because I need support, I need help. So here we go. We're gonna talk about this right here. And I'm gonna start it right here.
despair, divorce,
Okay, we're gonna go back a little bit because divorce is a big one, y'all. Divorce is a big one.
death,
Death,
depression,
depression,
divorce,
divorce,
debt,
debt. Ooh, that's a big one.
devastation,
Devastation.
deadbeat,
Mm.
despair. There is a Black male mental health struggle. I became a therapist in therapy. The unsustainability of Black male trauma, Black male rage, Black male resentment is a real thing, an unsustainable thing. So, what's the struggle?
What's up, cousin?
1 in 4 psychologists are Black. And when I say Black, I mean that includes Black men and Black women. According to the American Psychological Association, 4% psychologists worldwide, in this country, are Black. For every 100,000 Black Americans, only one Black psychiatrist. 7% of Black men receive any form of mental health services in the last couple years. Right? Black youth, particularly Black boys, are introduced with the struggle of mental health at a very early age.
Wow.
It's treated in elementary school by suspensions, special education referrals. What's the Black struggle? That's it. The inadequacy of practitioners who look like Black men, who have a unique experience with mental health. Right? What does that mean for all of us? The current mental health industry does not sustain Black male trauma, Black male rage, Black male resentment, which means we have to look at the factors that are uniquely attributed to Black males in this country. What makes me qualified to talk about Black male mental health struggle? Well, beyond the obvious of being a Black male,
Right.
I crashed in 2008, the year the mortgage industry crashed, real estate market, right? That same year, my mother informed me she had stage 4 cancer. In 2009, I became a father for the 4th time. This time was unique because the child was already 21 years old, which means right before my 17th birthday, I had a child. In 2010, my mother ended up passing away from cancer. Moved her from Chicago to Georgia before the diagnosis.
What's up, Glenda?
Golden years under the sun of the South, worked with me and for me. She ended up passing. In 2011, I went to what I now label as a very eventful divorce. I lost everything.
Wow.
I walked away from everything. I lost my family, my spouse at the time away from the children, assets, things of that nature. In 2012, I experienced my very first panic attack. I found myself in the middle of a public park here in Atlanta, lying on my back, crying profusely for what seemed like hours. In 2013, I had my second panic attack. This one was different. This one, I was with a partner at the time, and she said that she overheard me saying some things that were troubling. Later on that day, I had a special event I needed to be at. My friend at the time took me to the local emergency room because as Black males, that is how we address our mental health struggles, right? when it really gets to a point, I have to see someone at the local hospital in emergency room. So of course, they kept me 72 hours, suicide watch. I missed the court date. My partner at the time took the signed medical excuse to court at the time that I was supposed to report. The judge refused it, subsequently generating a bench warrant, and I eventually had to address that. That same year, 2013, my father passed, just when we were attempting to repair a 40-plus year fragmented, fragile, broken relationship.
This just happened?
He passed. Went to Chicago, did the morning, and back to Atlanta. 2 days after mourning my dad's death, was pulled over by local law enforcement.
Call customer service.
Had to settle that warrant from a few months earlier. So for the next 57 days, I sat in a jail cell, in a jumpsuit, grieving what I thought initially was only my father's death. What I now know was all of the stressors, the losses, the trauma, the rage, the resentment I had since I crashed the same year the mortgage and real estate market crashed.
Right. Do you have the
This
information?
is what Ivy League
you have the information when
University
you,
can
because
get
we're not a
into
part of
with a
YouTube.
3.6 GPA.
90% of students
Yeah,
with a
but that
4.0
customer
plus
service number,
GPA
they should get back with you.
rejected from
I haven't had
universities like
anybody who had
Harvard,
an issue
Stanford,
with it,
and
so
other top
it
10
could just be a
universities.
mishap.
Your
I don't
child
know.
needs these
Especially the way
three
it
key
happened, but
factors
I
to
would
get
get in touch
into
with them and
an Ivy League or
I'm sure
top
they'll fix it
25
for you.
university. And it's not having a good GPA or SAT score.
Well,
Let me
your
explain. Top
computer with
universities
i3
made
call
SAT
customer
and
service,
ACT submissions
and
optional.
then with
And
the
over
cable, I would
100,000
you
plus
know I
applicants
would
a year,
contact
as a
that
parent,
information
you
that I
know
gave you.
your child needs to stand out. Top universities like Harvard, Stanford, Princeton, and others admit
Okay, you have a nice
students
day.
who will have a successful career after graduation. This is what gives a university its prestige. Universities are businesses at the end of the day. And if they have great alumni who become successful, it's the best form of marketing for the university.
Okay.
And we know this.
Man, sorry about that, y'all.
States to get into the top 25 universities. We know that there are three factors.
Hey.
So during that time, I went to 5 different therapists. Now, I wasn't shy from therapy because my mother, bless her heart, she was ahead of her time. She took me to see a therapist in high school. We're talking in the 80s. The good thing is, it ended up being family therapy, and we learned a lot of tools and strategies that really benefited us. But when it was my time, during 08 to 2013, it felt differently, right? But I still went. I went to 5 different. The first 4, nothing. It was cool to share my struggles, but I didn't get any help. Why? Because it was irrelevant, right? The practitioners who did not look like me were culturally incompetent. They meant well. I didn't have time to teach them about my lived experiences. I needed tools and strategies. I needed them like yesterday. So after going through 4 different therapists, I gave up on therapy. I knew I was in trouble. It was evident in my life. I still didn't know where to go. Good friend urged me to take one more attempt finding a therapist. So I did. Found this gentleman. Walked in his office. I knew the drill, right? Sat down, poured out my heart, right? For the next 30, 35 minutes. And at the end of my spiel, the gentleman looked me in my eye and asked me this question that forever changed my life. He said, "You ever thought about becoming a therapist?" I said, "Man, what? Are you kidding me? I'm here for therapy. I'm not here for career coaching." He said, "No, hear me out." He said, "Look, I am about to retire. I've been doing this 35 years. I've seen black men come and go. I can't help them. I don't think the entire mental health industry can help them. But I think you can." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, you're not clinically depressed. You're emotionally exhausted. You're sad. You're angry. You're devastated, right? You're going through trauma. You're grieving, but it's not clinical depression. It's the unique experience of being a black male in this country, right? I'm not asking you to give up on therapy. Just find someone who looks like you. Better yet, become the person you're looking for. You are your own solution. And I left out of his office feeling defeated, right? Devastated, right? Pissed. Walked out of it. Okay, no worries. I'll figure it out. Matter of fact, I'm not doing anything. 3 weeks later, I started to feel better. His words touched me spiritually, mentally, emotionally. I started feeling
Hey
lighter.
Jeff, my name is Johnny
Right?
Gordon.
Things started to make sense
Tyson
to me.
Rutherford referred me to you.
He went on
Yeah,
to say,
so
go back to
I'm
school.
at the bank right now. So why don't you do this?
journey
Hang up with me and text me
be
what
a
your
part
issue
of
is,
your
and I'll give you a
healing.
call back.
And
Okay.
somehow I think this
All
is
right,
your
thanks, man.
purpose.
Okay.
This is
Bye.
what the last therapist told me. And that's what I did. That gentleman was a middle-aged white guy. So I did what he told me, right? It makes sense. He said it's no accident you're here. I did it. Didn't necessary training. I dropped out of
I
PhD program
went
so I can
to
add D's
Steak
to
and
that
Shake
list of D's
to
I
get
started off
a
with,
milkshake.
right? So I got back in school.
And
I had
the owner
nothing
mistaked
else
me
going on.
as somebody else
It
who he
changed my
said was
life.
harassing his customers.
So now I spend my days
Period. He had me
supporting black
removed from his
males,
store.
those who care about them and love them, and those who are raising them with a unique approach to black
I was
mental
then fired
health
from my store
struggle. You
because
see,
I
the
reported
struggle
the
is
incident.
because black men are not being taken care of in a way that really touch, moves, and inspires them, right? Black males, black males, we don't do well with one-on-one, right? We don't like isolation. We definitely don't do well with labeling. In the hood, we call that name calling. We don't do well with that, right? We don't do well with code switching when it comes to our lives, right? And we definitely don't have time to break down our lived experiences from others who need some type of explanation before they can give us some colonized version of how we need to go about healing. So I set out to create a unique experience for black men to address the black male mental health struggle. You see, as black males, I found out we need some things. We know a lot. We just need it in a way that we can use our own language to get it, right? We know about breath work, right? We know about meditation. We know about yoga. We're even for the dialectical approach, the cognitive behavior approach, right? We good with relationship and individual therapy. We'd rather have it in group, barbershop. That's where we're comfortable, right? Most of us have had some type of sport, so we get the importance of breath work. We get that. We just need it to come from someone who looks like us and who has walked the walk and talked the talk, right? See, as black males, we don't do what you say. We do what you do, right? So if you could tell us, show us, guide us, walk with us, we on to something. And that's what I did.
If you're 55 or over, did you know you could leave your loved ones with an inheritance of up to $300,000?
All right, so
You see, most seniors don't realize their life insurance.
we're gonna take a look at a little bit more. That's very interesting what he's talking about. If you liking what you see, let me know and leave a comment.
How does that work in terms of sustaining the existing mental health industry? Well, we have to take more of a uncolonized approach to black mental health. We have to encourage one another that there's certain signs and symbols that are indicators of distress and not necessarily mental disorders or mental illnesses, right? But we need to be able to convey it to this unique group, black males, who have been born under racism. Because racism, aggression, and microaggression, born into that, makes something of you, right? It's exhausting. So when you start adding on debt, depression, and divorce, you get the picture. You have now become exhausted, right? Not necessarily a mental illness, but things are definitely out of order, right? So that's what we need. We need the existing practitioner to become culturally competent on what this means for the people they serve. We need young college students who are Black, preferably male, to be encouraged to go into mental health, right? We need the existing Black practitioners to be amplified and elevated, right? And we need all of us to know that there is a unique experience for Black males that starts when we are born, mostly caused by racism, right? Exacerbated by unemployment, increased with PTSD symptoms due to violence, right? And it starts when we're in elementary school with suspension, special education referrals. So I implore all of us to sustain the existing mental health industry. We have to take into consideration the uniqueness of the Black male mental health struggle. That goes for first responders on every level. It goes for clergy, university, teachers, students, nonprofit organizations, right? Law enforcement, lawmakers, politicians. All of us have to be re-educated on what that means uniquely for Black males in our struggle. And in the spirit of the late, great Earl DMX Simmons, in order to speak for the people, must walk among people. Rest in peace, Dante Wright. Rest in peace, Alito.
All right, so
George Floyd.
he named off like George Floyd. So those are all things like we have to experience and go through life. And like a lot of times we just expect it to, I definitely see it like we expect it to just take a lot of stuff. So that's it. He talked about George Floyd too. And like a lot of things like I see in life, I had some young Black men down here yesterday, and we talked and had a discussion. It's kind of things to see that they go through and their struggles and stuff like that. It's really heartbreaking, you know, that you might feel a certain way, even at work and things like that. The people that you work next to, you feel a certain type of way because of the way they treat you and things like that. So it's just a lot, y'all. So with that being said, we're gonna get out of here. I want to thank everybody for tapping in and watching. And if you didn't get a chance to watch it, go back and watch it. Share with your people. All right, my name is Johnny, and this is Live with Johnny.